Good morning. This is Brother Chad Long from Delhi Baptist Church, and let me just begin by saying this is difficult for me. Um, I'm somebody who doesn't like to repeat things. I remember being in school, and we had to do a rough draft anytime we wrote a paper, and I was always a good writer. When I remember that. Relatively speaking, I remember that we would get graded by 1, 2, 3, or 4, rather than A, B, C, or D. Something about let's see, what do they call it? When you write a paper, I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, Lord, that was 20 some odd years ago. But I just remember that when we do these papers, we'd write, it could be a narrative, it could be a particular type of a paper, a research paper. It didn't matter. They wanted you to do your outline, note-taking outline, rough draft, a second draft, and then a final, edit it all out, get all your ideas on paper, and read over it, and then do a final draft. And I remember that I would never do it that way. If I had to for a grade, sometimes they'd make you do it, and they'd grade each part of the process. If I had to for a grade, then I'd do it, but I hated it. I hated that. And there's been times I literally wrote a paper and skipped all the steps, wrote it, and then maybe went over, edited some spots that needed to be edited, and left it pretty much the same. And I'd get a 4 on it. I mean, I was a good writer. I could write a story, and there was a time in my life when I thought I'd be a writer. I thought I'd write books and such for a living. I still might someday. I might one day write a book. I don't know. But the moral of all of that is I just can't stand to repeat something. And I think it's because in my mind, I think that once I've done something, I can't do it the same way again, no matter how hard I try. I don't redo sermons. I know when I preach, I may use the same verses again in another instance, but I can't preach the same sermon again. Some people will. Some people have them recorded, and they'll take them and visiting another church. Some preachers, literally, they'll go to a different church where they haven't preached a certain message, and they'll re-preach a message they've already preached. Some do multiple services a day. Y'all have seen this. Big churches, large churches that have enough people coming to do this will have a early morning service, sometimes a middle service, and a late morning service. And they'll preach the same message 3 times for 3 groups of people so that they don't have to come up with 3 different sermons. That's the message for the day, so there's your message. There's no way I can't see me doing that. Now, you've got to be wondering 4 minutes in why I'm carrying on about this. I told somebody the other day the computer problems I'm having just continue to get worse sporadically. So far this morning, everything's working. The shop I want to get my computer fixed at is in Stephenville. That's just where I want to take it. That's where I know a guy that, other than my brother-in-law, who's the best, but lives in Waco and busy all the time. He'd really be my best option, even though I'm probably not going to get it to Waco. But the best place aside from my brother-in-law is in Stephenville, and I'm only up here 2 days a week, and I don't want to be without my computer, and I don't really have time to go by there. So I keep putting off getting this problem fixed. But I literally sat down Friday. I sat down Friday and started our daily devotional. I started it, and I got 8-9 minutes in, and I was roundabout verse 6 of chapter 5, 1 John. And I was just explaining, what I believe this means, which we're going to get to. And the computer just shuts off. It just shuts off, and I turn it back on and try to recover what I've done. and it wouldn't reboot. It would give me an error code and shut off again. It did it like 6 times in a row. I was ready to throw the thing at the wall. Well, then, for reasons I can't understand, Sunday I uploaded our video for our Christmas program, and I thought, well, it made it through that. We'll see what happens Monday morning, and so far so good this morning. So I can't tell you what happened to our Friday devotional. I can't do it like I did it then. So we're just, I guess now that I've spent 5 minutes griping about it, maybe somebody needed that. I don't know. Maybe it helps somebody get to know me better, or maybe you can identify with redoing something you've done. I don't like backtracking either. If I miss a turn, or if I miss something, it grieves me to have to turn and go back. I don't know why that is. Character flaw, I guess. But I have literally run out of gas before because I didn't want to go back to the station I missed. I wanted to get to the next one down the road. I've literally done that. Isn't that stupid? Anyway, now you know something about me. So 6 minutes in, we're going to get into the Bible. I apologize for that. But I really needed to explain to you guys that I'm not skipping days on purpose. I'm trying to do this every day. We call it the daily devotional. It's really just Monday through Friday, because we upload on Sundays and Wednesday nights too, and that's just too many videos in a week. We put out 7 videos a week anyway. But all that being said, 1 John chapter 5, verse 1. Whosoever believeth that Jesus is Christ is born of God, and everyone that loveth him that begat, everyone that loveth him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. Now what he's saying here is that if you believe Jesus Christ is who he said he was, born of God, and that you love him, I did so much better on this last week. It's the way it's worded that throws you. But what he's saying is, let me read it again. He says, everyone that loveth him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. Is another way of saying that if we love God, we love everybody that is of God. So, in other words, saved people are supposed to love each other. You can't say, and I've seen this with Christians, I really have, and it's sad, but I've seen this. You can't say, well, I love God, but I don't love that so-and-so over yonder. If they're brethren, then you have to love them too. So, saved people have to love saved people. And if you say that you belong to God, then you have to love like God. And you have to love him, and you have to love others. There are some Christians that are hard to love. I'm one of them. I am. I say things that sometimes people just, they can't go along with. And for example, I don't like Santa Claus. Okay, I don't. Santa and Satan are the same letters, and that bothers me. Maybe it don't bother you, and that's fine. God bless you. I love you anyway. But some people don't like me because I will tell you how I feel about it. And my biggest reason, I mean, I don't say this anymore in church, and I should, really. I should stand my ground. My biggest reason is because if you teach a child Santa, and you teach a child Jesus, and then they find out someday there's no Santa, what did you just tell that child about Jesus? Well, my parents lied to me about this. Maybe they lied to me about that. Maybe he's make-believe. You just cast doubt into a child's mind. And I cannot go along with that. I don't care if you like me or not. I can't go along with that. The mere idea that you can plant a seed of doubt into the heart of a child who needs Jesus burns me up. And for what? For a holiday tradition that most of us don't even know how it got started. I mean, take away from the fact also that he's deified and sung about. And anyway, we're not going to talk about Santa. I know it's Christmas time, and we probably ought to. But the point is, sometimes people have a hard time loving me. Some Christians are hard to love. But what God says here is, if you believe Jesus is Christ, you believe he's born of God, everyone that loves him should love those that are also from him. I mean, that belong to him. So, in other words, the family of God has to love one another whether they like it or not. And here's why, verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God when we love God and keep His commandments. What was His commandment? Jesus summed it up in two. It's real simple. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and spirit. Love your neighbor as yourself. So if you can say I love God, but I don't love my neighbor, then I'm going to question whether or not you know God. End of story. Your love for each other, our love for each other, and our love for the Lord are some of the signs that we know Him, signs that we belong to Him, signs that we are Christian. They're evident. I mean, if you can't love Him, love each other, then you can't tell me you belong to Him. You just that's the way that works. And it says that's how we know. There's several places in chapter 5 where we're going to see that you can know. You can know that you know that you know that you're saved. And you can have some pretty good evidence about somebody else, although we're not supposed to judge someone's salvation. You can have a pretty good idea by some of these things. Verse 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. In other words, it's not that it's not hard to serve the Lord. It's just that when you belong to Him and His love lives within you, then none of this is hard. Not really. Maybe not easy. I'm not going to say it's easy, but grievous is a strong word. Some things are difficult. Some things are grievous. If the Lord is in you, it's not grievous to love one another. It may be difficult. It may be difficult to love me. That's okay. But it's not grievous. I'm not that bad. I have some strong opinionated ideas, but I think they stem from the right places, and so you can love me anyway. Verse 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Now, this is important too, because without Christ, you don't overcome anything. We're overcomers, and we're victorious through Him. Everything good we do, everything powerful and wonderful we do is in Him, through Him, for Him, with Him, by Him. So, if you're born of God, verse 4, whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. This is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. Our faith in Him and His work in us and through us. So it's pretty straightforward, okay? Verse 5, who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Jesus is the Son of God? In other words, those are the ones that get this done. You overcome the world because you don't belong to the world. The world is not my... I'm just passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. Now, verse 6 is where I got bogged down in our last video that never got uploaded. Because I disagree with a lot of the modern theologians on what verse 6 is saying. I'm going to give you a taste of this, and we'll cover it tomorrow if my computer doesn't fail me again. But we're already 13 minutes in. I wasted the first 4 or 5. I apologize. But that's okay. We're going to cover this. We want to do it right. All right? But I will read it to you. Verse 6 says, this is He that came by water and blood, even Jesus Christ, not by water only, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit that beareth witness, because the Spirit is truth. Now, without getting long with it, I'll just tell you, some people believe water and blood here is a reference to His baptism and His death. That would if they're right, that's His 3.5 year ministry, and they think that's what that's referencing. I don't think that's what that means. I'm sorry. There's some really good men I respect who do, and that's okay. I don't think that's what that means. But if you want to know what I think it means, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow, because I don't want to get that bogged down. I tell you what, go study it, see what you come up with. And I'll see you folks tomorrow. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And pray that my computer will make it, because I'm not going to get it to the shop this week again. And I need to. But I don't want to shut it down long enough to do that. And I don't really have time to go to Stephenville and back. I got to go run my route, which goes the other direction toward Brownwood. So unless somebody knows a really good computer shop near Delhi, I don't know when I'm going to get this thing fixed. But somebody reasonable. Because I'm not rich. Hey, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.